The point B with coordinates -1, -5 is rotated 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. And the question is, what are the coordinates of the resulting point B prime? So what I'd love for you to imagine is on this coordinate plane that you place a piece of tracing paper on top of that. And what I'd love for you to imagine next is that you have traced over the y-axis and the x-axis, and you have also put a dot on top of point B. Now you're going to put a thumbtack down at the origin, and we're going to spin this tracing paper 90 degrees clockwise, and we want to see where point B ends up, or where point B lands. So I'll know that I've done my 90 degrees when my axes are on top of the existing axes, and my point B prime lands in the place that is 5 to the left of the origin and 1 up, so -5, 1. So once again, how did we do that? We had the coordinate plane and the point B. We're imagining putting a piece of tracing paper on top. We're copying over the axes and we're placing a thumbtack right there. And we're going to go clockwise, the way the clock spins. And we'll stop once we've made 90 degrees. And the coordinates of point B prime now are -5, 1. So we look at our original point, and we look to see is there some relationship that exists in the original coordinates x and y and the new coordinates of the rotated point. So that's always a really important thing to consider. It looks like when we make a 90 degrees clockwise rotation, okay, it looks like x, y, the coordinates of some point, x, y, after a 90 degrees clockwise rotation, looks like what was the y coordinate becomes the new x coordinate, and what was the x coordinate is now the opposite. So this is the rule for a 90 degrees clockwise rotation. All right, let's look at another example. Same point, B, with coordinates -1, -5. This time is going to be rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. Same thing, I put a piece of tracing paper on top. I've marked out my X and my Y axis, and I've placed a thumbtack right there. This time I'm going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is the opposite way that a clock moves, and I'm going to stop when I've made my 90 degree counterclockwise rotation, and notice where my point B prime has landed this time, 5, -1. So could we make a rule about a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation? Well, here was the previous rule. But for the counterclockwise rotation, let's see if we can adjust this. All right, 90 degree counterclockwise rotation. The point that had coordinates x, y becomes, let's think about this now. What was the y coordinate is now in the x coordinate spot, but the opposite. What was the x coordinate is now the y coordinate without a change in sign. And we'll do one more. And same point B with coordinates -1, -5, and we're going to go 180 degrees. Now it says counterclockwise, but I have a feeling 180 degrees, it doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise, and we'll prove that, okay? But let's see what happens when I spin this 180 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. Well, we're going to go 90 degrees first. 90 degrees counterclockwise is right there. Now we'll do 180 degrees, which is 90 degrees more. So I'm going to do that again. So we're going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then another 90 degrees counterclockwise. And we're going to land right there. All right. So where does point B prime end up? After 180 degree counterclockwise rotation with coordinates 1, 5. So basically, 180 degree rotation lands in the exact opposite quadrant, the quadrant that's diagonally across. And what happens? What is the rule? Well, this rule is actually kind of interesting. The rule for a 180 degree rotation is x comma y, right? What was point x, coordinate x, and what was the coordinate for y, stays as the coordinate for x and y, but just the opposite signs, right? Now, would that have also worked with a clockwise rotation? Well, let's check it out. Let's put point B back to where it started. There's where point B started. And this time, let's go 180 degrees clockwise. So we're going to do 90 degree clockwise rotation, and then the 180 degree clockwise rotation. And sure enough, the coordinates for B prime are 1, 5.